Hello. Welcome to Port Misery, a GH podcast where we try to figure out why everyone in Port Charles is so miserable this week. Everything's popping off. Like, it's only Monday and stuff's popping off, and I'm actually so excited, like, because everything's going crazy. To make things easier for us and for myself, I have created a tier list of people who are active against Drew and what level of activation they are at. I just thought visuals would be helpful because I have a tendency to ramble. And so, as you can see, we have five tiers. Starting from the bottom, we have Team Drew. That's obviously Drew himself. He's Team Drew. And we got a disloyal ex football player still sticking with him, unfortunately, looking like a whole ass dummy. Then we have people who are not currently active against Drew for various reasons. We have people trapped in Rocco's hospital. So Rocco himself, Lulu, we have Emma and Geo over at Spy Hospital doing their idiotic honeypot, and of course Maxie. She cannot be active against Drew, mainly because she is dying. We will get into it. Then the next tier, this is a more dangerous tier for Drew himself. We have the not active but could become active if given tea. So obviously we have Anna Duvain. She's just biding her time. We have Martin, who is about to learn that Drew set him up for fraud. Terrible. Uh, Attractive biracial doctor. He seems to be very close to Stella, as everyone is in Black Hospital, so can't abide by that. Christina seems firmly entrenched in Christina's hospital, but let her find out that Drew is not going to let her see Scout anymore. She can move straight into the active category. Like, oh, just jump over about to become active straight into active. Lucas, same thing. Same thing. He could hot leapfrog straight. I almost put him in about to become active, but he's also dealing a lot with Mob Hospital. He's not really concerned with Delusional Hospital, and he seems to be more concerned with Willow. Sasha's not even on the show, but she could pop back up anytime and let her find out that Drew is the reason Willow became crazy, started kidnapping her baby. That could make her active. Brooklyn, Ava, Liz, even Britt. These are just people who, given the right tea, given the right circumstances, they could become active. Now we have the on the verge of becoming active. Like, they're so close, they're on the edge, they just haven't jumped off the cliff yet. We have obviously the children being affected, Scout and Wiley. They could kill Drew at any moment. Liesel is always a loose cannon. Molly could be fun. Molly could be fun, as could Dante and Chase, because they're disgusted by Drew, obviously. Black Hospital and Friends, see Felicia here, Black Hospital and Friends, they're always a wild card in the becoming active against Drew crusade. Obviously, the captains of Black Hospital are already active, but Stella, Trina, and Jordan, at any moment, they could just leapfrog into active. And then, of course, White East African Warlord and Latino Son, they're just biding their time. And then we have the active category, people who are actively against Drew. We have the Corinthi Mob Hospital right here in the front. We got Michael, Sonny, Carly, Jason, Jocelyn. Yes, she's in Spy Hospital. Let her come back to GH, or not GH, to Port Charles, and she will be active against Drew once more. And now Diane, we got the lawyer involved. Tracy is active. Obviously, Portia and Curtis have been active. Dark Willow is in the running. We love to see her in this category, because if this was a month ago, she'd be down here in Team Drew. Nina obviously is now active. Laura, because he's just attacking her mayorhood, her mayordom. I'm not sure what her mayorship. I don't know. And I'm a historian. Make it make sense. Obviously, Alexis is now active because he's trying to keep her granddaughter from her. Same reason with Danny. He wants Scout back active. And now Horny DA is active. And so, what's about to happen? What is about to happen with Drew Kane? We got to go through Spy Hospital before we do that. So let's do that. Okay, so Monday, Spy Hospital. As usual, we're starting with Spy Hospital because I don't respect it. But so the big things that happen is Jason sees Britt. He like shows up at, the Sandals Resort and he sees Britt. And Britt is immediately like, nondescript European manager, I need to talk to you about this lab, and gets him out of there. She goes back to her room. Nondescript European manager goes back to see Jason. He's like, sorry about that. You should go see the bar. He's like, bet. It ends with him finding Britt's room. How does he know where it is? He just searched all the rooms in this complex. Like, okay. Yeah, he found her though. He found her ass. And that's all you need to know. Super quick. Get it out the way. The rest of Spy Hospital is really dealing with Joss, like, shooting a man with the most impossible shot you've ever seen in your life. Like, it's like Dollar Tree Dex's body is blocking the entire shot. So, like, how she shot him, like, in the neck is actually crazy. It's like some CIA magic bullet stuff, but it's also a soap, so I'm not going to read too much into it. She's just that good. It's a 6 week training. It's a 6 week training on Easter Island. It's just that great. But Joss is shook. She like immediately goes back to Cyrus, and she's shook. Dollar Tree Dex asked the man who sent you, but the guy is like shot in the neck, so he's not saying shit. And Dollar Tree Dex gotta like smother him to death with a pillow. I was like, okay, Dollar Tree Dex, like, goddamn. I was not expecting to see a man smothered to death by a pillow on GH, but here we are, and it was bloody and everything. I was like, okay, we're doing it. But he did that, and then he was like, well, obviously we got to get rid of this body, because Joss like launches into like, because he's trying to leave. Like Dollar Tree Dex is like, well, we're made, so we should get the fuck out of here. Joss is like, no, because Britt and we have a relationship because she saved my life, and I don't really understand it. Like, I don't understand it, but we got to pretend like that's a thing. And so he's like, look, I guess we can like stay another 24 hours if like we get rid of this body. She's like, how are we supposed to get rid of the body? He's like, we're going to dump it off a cliff. So they go to do that. They had to get dressed in all black and everything. It was a whole spy op. You're like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing. But Joss is shook and he can kind of tell. And so he's like, why don't you go clean yourself off? And she just like gets into the shower fully clothed. And then he sees her, and then he's like, oh, and then he gets in the shower with her, also fully clothed. And so that's happening. They're becoming a thing. It's obviously like an homage to like Robert, and insert either Anna or Holly, just Robert and younger woman who's not used to this life. It's that story. And so, I don't care for it. Like Spy Hospital is not my favorite hospital, but if you're enjoying it, I hope you're enjoying it. People seem to like him. People seem to like him and her. People seem to like her as a spy. And so if you like it, feel free to like it. But that Spy Hospital, I'm glad I'm done with it. To be I don't want to talk about it anymore because I want to go over to. I don't even get to talk about, like, we're not even where I want to talk about it. Like, we're gonna talk about Mob Hospital really quick, but it's like Deception's like weird section of Mob Hospital, right? Because they're all like entangled in Mob Hospital because of the money laundering that Maxie just wants to do, or wants to snitch about. But we can't even talk about that because we got to talk about the Home and Heart lady overstepping with BOQ, which is crazy. Like, who is this Home and Heart lady? Why is she why is she inserting herself into this? But like the only time we get to hear BOQ's like opinion and perspective about her son is when she's talking to this home and heart lady. Like, to be honest, because even with Dante, Brooklyn's really like, well, you should just talk to him because he hates me. But like, we get to actually hear how she feels with this lady. But it's also like, who the fuck is this lady? Like, who is she? Who cares? But she's like saying things like, well, I talked to your mom, and it really seems like it was your grandma's fault. Can we stop pretending like Lois was some naive teenager who just didn't understand? Like, no, that's Brooklyn's role in this. Like, Lois was at least in her 40s. So, can we be so fucking serious right now? Like, if y'all want to give her some room to come back and have people, like, that's going to happen regardless of how I feel about it. But it's also ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like, you have the home and heart lady being like, well, even though she did this horrible, relationship destroying thing, like, can't you find it in your heart to forgive her? Like, no, like you just said, it's a relationship destroying thing. What are we saying? But, that's happening. At the same time, the mob hospital part of this is rearing its ugly head because we have Kirsten Storms back, because Maxie is still trying to snitch on deception, because like, and I understand where she's coming from. Like, I don't want people to think that I don't understand what she means when she's saying, like, okay, well, Lucy just is like a cat with 9 lives. Like, she always lands on her feet, and Brooklyn and Tracy are quartermains, but I'm just out here and I've already been poor. I get what she's saying. Also, it does sound like she's saying, like, I need to destroy deception to save it. Girl, what are you talking about? Like, what are you actually talking about? That's my main point, is that none of this makes sense. Because, like, if you turn it in, like, they've already said what's going to happen. Like, they're going to freeze all your assets, so you're going to be poor. Brooklyn and Tracy are going to be fine because they're quartermains. They got EOQ money. Lucy she's got 9 lives, but you're the one who's fucked in that. And also, once you turn them in, like, okay, so they can't fire you, but they're gonna ice you out. Like, they're never gonna want to talk to you or do business with you again. So I don't understand, but it is also just a way to usher Kirsten Storms off the canvas by giving deception like weird business shenanigans where they're like on opposite sides of this. And so Maxie calls Martin and she's like, so I would like to turn on my business partners. How would I go about that? And he's like, I don't know. Like, to be honest, like, are you sure you want to do that? Because, like, you could do it. Like, they can't fire you or nothing. They can't push you out. There's laws to protect whistleblowing and shit like that. But also, there are ways to, like, ice you out and go around those laws. And, like, fuck personal relationships with people. Like, that shit's gone. Your personal relationships or your business relationship with them is going to be fucked. And so you got to think about that. You really got to think about that. Maxie is like, nah, I thought about it and I'm about that life. I'm doing this. And so Martin's like, cool. I wouldn't give him a heads up because Maxie's like, should I tell him? He's like, nah, you should not tell him, to be honest, because then they're just gonna, you know, do some shit. I don't know what he thought they were gonna do besides read her ass while she's like, well, I'm gonna go to jail. I'm gonna go to the cops anyway. But like, oh, okay. But that don't even matter. That don't even matter. Lucy runs up on Maxie talking to Martin, and so does Brooklyn, kind of. Martin's like, I gotta go. I got to go. They asked Maxie, like, what were you talking to him about? Like, why you need to talk to Martin Gray? What's going on? And before she has a chance to answer, some, like, production lady for Home and Hearts, like, oh, Lucy, we gotta come touch you up, because she had come late, because she was off with East African Warlord. We're gonna talk about it in a second. But she was so funny. She was like, because they were like, we need to, like, get you ready. She was like, girl, I live my life camera ready, but you could touch me up. You could touch me up. Thank you, girl. Lucy is so funny. She's a menace, but she's hilarious. But, Brooklyn and Maxie end up talking, and Brooklyn is like, oh, I'm so sorry I can't go on Home and Heart. Maxie's like, I would never make you do anything that you're uncomfortable with, essentially insinuating like that they're making her do something she's uncomfortable with by not snitching on Sonny. Girl, like I said, you faked a heart condition so you wouldn't have to testify against that man, but now you're like, I gotta do this. But okay, sure. before they have a chance to really talk about that, like Maxie and Lucy are on the air. They're on Home and Heart. And Lucy's rambling on as usual. Like she cannot help herself. And Maxie's like, oh my God, girl. And Maxie just sort of takes over, like, hey, okay, so this what is about. This is great. You should use it. She literally puts some on her face. As soon as she puts some on her face, she immediately falls out. She immediately falls out. Um, it's real crazy. It's real crazy. And like I said, so Lucy was with with White East African Warlord prior to going over to Home and Heart. And he was saying how like, oh, I cannot wait to see y'all on Home and Heart. I can't wait to see what happens. And so I'm like, so you poison the face cream. You put that one heart attack inducing element in the face cream to kill Maxie. That's crazy. Also, does it seem like he doesn't like Lucy? It really seems like he don't like her. Like I'm just keeping it cute. Like if you see the vibes, then I'm not gonna say that you don't see them, but I don't see them. It really seemed like he's real annoyed to be around her. Like he's deaf just using her to do shenanigans. But that's just me. But that's deception is infected by mob hospital. I'm sure we're gonna deal more with that tomorrow because Maxie has, like I said, she has fallen out. She is completely fallen out on Home and Heart. But let's go back. So like Mob Hospital, we're gonna continue in Mob Hospital. We're going over to Sunny, but like this is now Delusional Hospital because Drew is just that powerful. Drew is so powerful that he will take over entire iterations of GH and make them Delusional Hospital. Because I was going to like separate Black Hospital and Mob Hospital from Delusional Hospital. It's not possible. It's not possible. Not at all. And so let's go to Delusional Hospital, crashing into Mob Hospital. So in Friday's episode, Drew had showed up at Sunny's house when Horny DA was there. She was like, let me go hide in the corner. He immediately starts blackmailing Sunny. He's like, tell Michael to give Willow 50-50 custody, sell your peers to White East African Warlord, and get the fuck out of town. That's what I want you to do. Sunny is like, you a loser and you not gonna get Willow back. So what's good? Drew's like, so you just gonna let your son go to jail? So you can call me a loser? That's what you're doing? Sunny's like, I didn't say I was doing that. I didn't say all that. So he's like, so you gonna do what I say? Sunny's like, I didn't say that either. You old bitch, get out of my house. And so Drew leaves. The horny DA comes out the corner and she is disgusted. She is disgusted. She's like, I cannot believe that is what Drew Kane is like. What's going on? Sunny's like, that's the real Drew Kane. That's the man that I see all the time. Like, I've been known that man is like that. But, I'm me, so no one believes me when I tell people that a person ain't shit. And she's like, I believe you. Like, I can't believe that, like, people are writing op-eds about you and really you dealing with all this harassment. And, like, because she recommitted herself to the law on Friday, she's like, I'm gonna bring Drew Kane to justice. Sunny's like, you can't do that. Because if you bring up the fact that you know that he blackmailed me, then you gonna have to tell people that we had dinner together. I made you some pizza, and your whole career is gonna be destroyed. So now she likes him even more. She's like, oh my god, she's even more horny. It's crazy. She's like, listen, he's a corrupt politician, which means that he will mess up and then I will be there and I'm going to bring him to justice. I'm going to give you justice, Sunny. She now feels bad for Sunny and she wants to get justice for Sunny Corinthos. This man is so powerful. Like his aura is so powerful. Like he just turned in DAs and FBI agents. Like, it should be offensive. Like as a woman, I should be offended to think that like this man just got an aura so strong that he will turn any bitch with a Y chromosome who is straight against their principles and turn them into a mob queen pin with him. But I love it. Keep going. Do more. But yeah, she leaves and she decides that she's gonna, dedicate herself to saving Sunny Corinthos. This woman's gonna fuck this man. Like, look at her face. Look at her. Like, she's definitely gonna fuck this man. If you're listening to this on like Apple Podcasts, I started putting images, like visuals on the YouTube and Spotify. So like if you want to check it out on YouTube, like I'm not gonna try to tell an Apple podcast person to go to Spotify. Like I'm not about that life. But YouTube, you can see some funny pictures because this whole go sleep with this man. Look at her. She is girl, it's too late. You just gotta accept it. Um but Drew's on one, right? So he leaves Sonny's house and he goes immediately to white East African warlord. And he's like, bruh, I just did you a favor. I got Sonny to sell you his peers. Like, and he tells him the Latino son's there. And he's like, and they're going to have to do this. Latino son is a lawyer. So he's like, I don't know. They don't have to do shit, to be honest. Like, everything you saying is like, it's whatever. Like, it doesn't sound great, but it's not a slam dunk. And then because like Drew came in, like, so I blackmailed Sonny to sell you the peers. And then in the middle of telling him this, he decides like, nah, fuck that. I'm just gonna put Michael in jail so I can get Willow her kids back. Cause like white East African warlord, look at his face. He's looking at him like the way a dog looks at like the Ring, camera when you start talking out of it at your dog. Like, stop doing that. Like, when you have cameras in your house, you can see the dog get into shit it's not supposed to get into, and then you start talking at it from your job, and the dog's looking at you like, what the fuck? Like, that's what white East African warlord is looking at Drew like. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And so he starts being like, bruh, like, you can't just put Michael in jail. Like, we should just threaten to put Michael in jail because then we can move Sonny the way we need to move him. Drew is like, that's not going to get Willow her kids back. That's not going to get me her back in my fucking bed. What you talking about? Fuck that. Sorry, bro. We got to find a different way. And like leaves. And so white East African warlord and Latino son are like, so we might have to, kill Drew. Cause he not doing what we need him to do. He flipped out. But you know what? They said might. They're like, we might have to kill him, which is why they're not on the officially active tier yet. Maybe they'll move up this week. I don't know. But I still got them on the, about to become active tier. But let's go to Black Hospital. So Black Hospital, Portia and Curtis are like post coitus. So embarrassed for Portia because, like I said, Curtis is out here having an emotional affair, and he's out here saying crazy shit to her because she's like, "Oh my god, thank you so much. I just know we're not 100% back." And he's like, "Listen, when you were willing to like throw your career away for Michael, I knew that you were the woman I married." Curtis, go to hell. What are you talking about? Okay, stop having an emotional affair, and then maybe I'll buy this. But they're in the middle of this like love fest when Jordan calls Portia because she been trying to call Curtis, but his phone's off. But Portia's a doctor, so she can't ever turn her phone off. So Jordan calls Portia because obviously Jordan was at the hospital when the government showed up to like talk to Stella. So Jordan is talking to Portia, and Portia's like, "What do you want? What's going on?" And Jordan's like, "I need to talk to Curtis. You are a loser. You are a loser because why can't you just tell Portia what's going on?" Not only is Portia Curtis's wife, knows Stella. So if you just told her what was going on, she could hand the phone to Curtis immediately. She's the chief of staff at GH. So she's actually more relevant in the situation than you are. You're just there, to be honest. But Jordan's like, I have to talk to Curtis. Portia's like, fine. Gives the phone to Curtis. She tells Curtis that the government is there talking to Stella. Curtis and Portia, my bad. See, I'm already ready for Jurdis to get back together. But Curtis and Portia go to GH because Portia's like, I'm gonna go there because once again, I am actually co-chief of staff at GH, so I should be there. Stella had agreed to talk to these people because she's some older black lady and she feels justified in what she did. She's like, I didn't break no laws, so I don't need no lawyer. Aunt Stella, please, auntie. Like, Jesus cannot get us through everything. Jesus will not protect us through everything. Sometimes we need a lawyer. But she goes in with them. Curtis and Portia show up. Portia's like, let me go talk to the GH lawyers because absolutely the fuck not. Curtis is like, I'm gonna bust in there. Right fucking now. Attracted biracial doctor's like, you shouldn't do that. Like, she seemed really confident. Everything's fine. Martin shows up. Because, Martin has said, like, if anything ever happens to you, I'm your fucking lawyer. Turns out Felicia had called Martin. Felicia, friend of Black Hospital. We love her. Um, he goes in guns a blazing, like, this is my client, don't talk to her no more, like, you shouldn't be talking to my client without an attorney. They're like, so you can't be her attorney? He's like, the fuck I can't. What you talking about? Like, everybody deserves a vigorous defense and I'm her fucking attorney. They're like, no, because you're under investigation too. He's like, oh. And so they come out. Stella, once again, she's got Jesus on her side in her mind. The Holy Spirit is protecting her. And so she's like, everything's going to be fine. They're just going to check all my cases for the past year. Martin is like, has this ever happened to you? Like, you've been a social worker for a really long time. Has this ever happened to you? She's like, no, like, nothing like this has ever happened, but I don't fucking care because, like, I know that everything I did, the Lord will protect me. Essentially, she got that energy. Like, the Lord knows that I'm in the right, so I will be protected by Jesus and his light. I love you, Aunt Stella. No, but the investigators come out. Portia starts breathing them for filth. Like, excuse me, hi, I'm the chief of staff of General Hospital, and I just talked to our lawyers, and they didn't hear shit about this. And what the fuck's going on? Because ain't no way you just come in my hospital, you don't talk to no lawyers, you just start talking to my staff. I can't have that. What the fuck's going on? They just look at her dead in her face, and they're like, listen, this shit's above you and it's above us. So if you got a problem, go talk to our supervisor because it's coming from up top. At that point, everybody knows what time it is. Everyone at Black Hospital is aware that they are in Black Hospital, but that Black Hospital has been taken over by Delusional Hospital. And so people are so fucking active right now. It's crazy. Let's put the tier list the tier list up again. I'll put this on Twitter, just so in case you're listening to this on Apple or Google Podcasts, like, you can see the tier list. But Monday's tier list, like, these are the active people. Martin needs confirmation from Drew that he really fucking did that, and Drew is on one, so he will give it. But once he gets confirmation, he gonna move straight into the active category. Same with Stella, Jordan, Isaiah, all these people gonna move. Felicia, we're gonna see, right? Because, like, Drew truly ain't shit. Drew is a menace. Drew is a menace. That's the title of this episode. I don't even give a fuck what happens the rest of this week. The title of this episode is Drew is a fucking menace. But that's Monday. Let's go. Like, let's see what happens on Tuesday. We'll make a new tier list for Tuesday. See who is and isn't active against Drew. I'm sure everyone who is active will remain active, but we'll see if more people become active. But, like, let's go to Tuesday. I'll be back. Okay, we're back. So we're on Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Let's pull up the graphic. Okay, so we got our tier list. Not much has changed. We still got the same people sort of doing the same thing. The active people are still active. The about to become active people are still, so not much has changed. But, like, let's get into the recap. So let's start with Rocco's Hospital. There's just a snippet of Rocco's Hospital because we do have a scene between Carly and Lulu where Carly is telling Lulu how she kicked Lisa out the hotel. Lulu is really like, I can't believe she was gonna tell Rocco, and Carly has to be like, yeah, girl, but she seemed like she really cared about Rocco. Okay, why can't anybody just stand behind Lulu and look hard? Why do they gotta constantly remind her that this has a heart of gold? But I mean, you know what? It's Carly, and she's constantly capping for Mob Hospital and herself, so I guess I'm gonna accept that. But that's a little snippet. They're both there before they jump into other storylines. So let's leave Rocco's Hospital and go to Spy Hospital really quick. So Joss and Dollar Tree Dex, bang. That's what they decided to do. They were in the shower and she was breaking down and she said the only thing that can cure this devastation of mine is this man's peen. And so they do that. Afterwards, Josh tries to immediately pretend like she didn't do that. Like, let's talk about the mission, and tells him like, if we leave, then this is all gonna be for nothing. Like, they're just gonna move out the Sandals Resort and go to a different Sandals Resort, and we're not gonna know where it is. So we got to do this today. And so they decide to stay and be messy. Josh is like convinced that her and Britt are like trauma bonded through that stupid Heather attack. How many conversations did Joss and Britt have prior to Britt sacrificing herself for Jocelyn? And we learned she didn't even do that because she just went and faked her death. But Joss is just like, she didn't try it. She saved my life before. Why would she try to kill me now? I don't, did she save your life before? I mean, she did, but like, it seems like she ran up on some shit, was like, what the fuck's going on here? And tried to help you, as opposed to her looking at you like, oh my God, that's Jocelyn Jax. I can't let this happen to her. It's a lot of conjecture happening on Joss's part, but fine. They're going to stay and be messy. And all of a sudden, well, Joss is trying to leave immediately. She's just like, okay, let's go find Britt. He's like, girl, we don't know where she is, and it's late at night, and people are trying to kill us. Let's just chill and do this in the morning. And so they decide to wait until the morning, but it's nighttime, and they just banged. And so they're like, oh. And so he's like, it's fine. One of us should stay awake anyway, since people are trying to kill us. So we'll sleep in shifts. So you go to sleep, girl, and I'll stay up. And that's them. I was almost gonna say that's Spy Hospital. It is not Spy Hospital because obviously I gotta talk about Jason and Britt. Jason and Britt talk because obviously he found her room yesterday. And he says that he saw her when she was getting on the plane back to the Sandals Resort, in the Balkans in Paris. And she was like, oh, boo, now I can't go to Paris and I have to live at this Sandals Resort in the Balkans. Isn't life so sad for me? Girl, shut up. Honestly, shut up. What are you talking about? But, they're having this like angsty filled reunion when he decides to tell her how he survived and how the FBI blackmailed him with tea on Carly, and she flips the fuck out. I'm like, girl, you still mad about this? Like, for real? Because you just faked your own death and made people think you were dead, but now you feel some type of way because he did some shit for Carly. He's not even with her. He's not with her, and it's not because she's not with Sonny. Like, he's just not with her. So why are you mad about this? But she reads the shit out of him and tells him to get out. He's like, no, like, if you need me to rescue you, I'm down to rescue you, girl. She's like, why I need to be rescued? I live in a Sandals resort in the Balkans. What you talking about? My Huntington's is in remission. Here's the thing. And it was a big controversy on soap Twitter. I'm only on Twitter. I don't really look at the other soap social medias. And so there were people like myself who were like, this is why you should not give soap characters in real life diseases, because once you decide you don't want to kill a character, now you have to do some soap nonsense to stop this character from dying, right? Which means you have to cure uncurable diseases, and that shit's not cute. And that's all I had to say. I'm not even saying like, oh, this takes me out the story or shut it down or anything. I'm just saying that we could have given her made up terminal soap illness that is ridiculously easy to cure, and we wouldn't be having this conversation, right? And so now I can only hope that she doesn't actually have Huntington's, and this was just a ploy to get her to do cold fusion, even though she's not qualified. But whatever. She tells Jason to get the fuck out or she's gonna call security. He's like, what happens when security comes? What happens with that? I thought this was a Sandals resort. What you talking about? And she's just like, get out. He's like, girl, you're in danger. Spy Hospital is afoot. They're all up in here. So like whatever's going on here, it's not on the up and up because they're sus. She's like, get out. So he leaves. And that's pretty much Spy Hospital. That's Spy Hospital. I'm glad we got through it. Let's go over to Mob Hospital. Oddly enough, I will not be talking about Sonny Corinthos in Mob Hospital. Go figure. I'm talking about Maxie Jones and Mob Hospital because she's a victim of it. Not Sonny's mobbing, white East African warlords mobbing, because we're obviously finishing up the continuation of her falling out on Home and Heart. So she falls out. The segment comes to a halt, obviously. Everyone's like, what's going on? They call the ambulance. Brooklyn calls Spinelli. She tries to call Felicia, but Felicia's over at Delusional Hospital dealing with whack ass Drew. We'll get to that. Um, and the ambulance comes. They take her to GH. um Lucas is the doctor. Lucas and Elizabeth are the doctor and nurse on call when she shows up, and so obviously they're shook. Felicia was there because, like I said, she was dealing with Drew, and so it is just the most heartbreaking. Because, like, if you, I mean, if you're a fan of the show, you probably already know, but if you're a newer viewer, Maxie as a child had a heart transplant. And so heart conditions and Maxie, like, this is OG General Hospital that we're tapping into. And so Felicia being there, it hits different. Lucy comes and tells Felicia, what had happened, how, they were doing the segment on Home and Heart, and Maxie got quiet and she fell out. And like I said, it goes back to like the BJ's heart of it all. Then Spinelli comes and just like runs up and pretty much like screams in Felicia's face. He's like, "Where's Maxie?" I was like, "Sir, why are you screaming at her? Like, she knows as much as you do." But everyone kind of converges at GH. Like, even the Home and Heart lady is there showing up. And it is as awkward as you would imagine because Brooklyn and Lulu do not fuck with each other. And so Brooklyn doesn't really know what to do in this situation. Like, if this was last year before Lulu woke up, she would be chief best friend, making all the decisions, comforting the people who need to be comforted. But because Lulu's here, she knows that she is actually the beta best friend for Maxie, not the alpha best friend like Lulu is. And so she backs off so Lulu can take her alpha position as Maxie's bestie. The Home and Heart lady notices, she's like, "You don't want to go, like, be with your friends and family?" She's like, "That's Maxie's family. And Maxie needs Lulu to be doing this. And because she's my bestie, I'm going to back off and let Lulu do what she needs to do." I thought it was great. I thought it was really, empathetic of Brooklyn to think about other people besides her relationship with Maxie. She's like, "No, this is more important," specifically with Spinelli, because, like, obviously there's a lot of history between Lulu, Spinelli, and Maxie. And so, that happens. Maxie pretty much spends the entire episode dying. Like, she is literally flatlined the entire episode until the last, like, 5 minutes. Lucas and Elizabeth and, random nurses that are there are able to get Maxie back, but now they have to figure out what's going on. Like, why did this happen? Because as far as they're concerned, she's healthy, so they don't really know what's going on. Um, Brooklyn tries to ask Lucas what's going on, and he's like, "Girl, you tell me. Like, did she eat something weird? Did she have an allergic reaction to the little truth serum?" Lucy pops out of nowhere, like, "Nope, she can. That cannot be that. That is our highest selling thing. She was part of the product testing. It cannot be that." So it is definitely that. It's definitely that. But that's pretty much Mob Hospital, because Mob Hospital, like, that's the part of Mob Hospital that has not been infected by Delusional Hospital. So we got to go over to Delusional Hospital to talk about the rest of Mob Hospital. And so, like I said in the beginning, during Rocco's hospital, Lulu and Carly were talking. Nina appears. Carly just gets up and is like, "So I own this hotel, and as the owner of this hotel, you are allowed to go from the parking lot to the Crimson offices, and I don't want to see you in any other part of my fucking hotel because fuck you, bitch." Okay, like, you let Drew be in the restaurant and Matt mean mug your grandson and get punished by your son, but now you don't want Nina walking through the pool area. Okay, girl. And I love Carly. I'm on her side. And also, that's real extra. But she essentially starts reading the shit out of Nina. Like, "This all your fault. You could have ended this shit at any point and you didn't because you're a weak bitch. Just want you to know that." Nina is like, "I am not a weak bitch. Like, this is all your guys' fault because you didn't allow me to be a mother." This is my this is my thing, is that like, while I will concede that Carly does not need to be banning her from pool areas because that's just silly, Nina, why are you defending yourself when this is the what she is saying to you is the exact same shit you've been saying about yourself to everyone else? Like, this is the shit you told Curtis, this is the shit you told Ava, this is the shit you tell your people. That this is your fault, and that if you had just been honest with Willow months and months and months ago, now none of this would have happened. But now that Carly's saying it, now she's out of line. Now that shit's not true. Like, how could we have predicted any of this? Okay, Nina, be so fucking serious. But Carly is just like, don't blame me for why you're a terrible fucking mom. You're a terrible mom because you're trash. And Nina kind of runs at Carly, and Carly, like Hulk, throws her into the pool. It is so funny. It is so funny because, girl, why did you do that? Why does she keep running at Carly and trying to attack her like an unstable person like that? Her and her daughter got lots in common because they don't got no common sense. But Nina's in the pool. She gets out the pool. Gio's there, so funny. Like, hey, you want to get earlier? Let me just say, earlier, Gio was like, I'm trying to get my paycheck to Lulu because Lulu was there before Maxie fell out, and he was like, I'm just trying to get my paycheck from Carly, but it seems like she's in a fight. Should I go break that up? And Lulu has to like save his life. Like, no, 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 no. Those bitches are crazy. You are not prepared for that level of smoke. And so, when Nina's getting out the pool, Gio's still there because he was still waiting for his paycheck. And he's trying to like hand her a towel, and it's so funny, and she doesn't take it. And then she starts screaming about how like she could have broken her neck. Girl, you ran at Carly. You ran at Carly. And that's what she said. She was like, bitch, you ran at me. And the next time you run at me, it's going to be the last time. All right. I'm going to let you know that right now. Nina's being all disruptive. She's like, the customers are looking at her because she looks like a crazy person. She's like, hi, what? Um, and essentially, Carly's like, look, bitch, I said what I said, and I meant that shit, so live with it. And she leaves. And Nina's just all wet and upset. And that, Carly versus Nina part 647. That's what that was. And so now let's go over to Drew, principal and CEO of Delusional Hospital. So he was at GH to get paperwork for his black eye and really trying to act like he was concussed, like he could have lost his vision, all the things. Liz is not trying to hear any of this. Liz is like, listen, this is an emergency room. This is for emergencies, not for shiners. Are you fucking serious? What's going on? Drew is like, so what's gonna happen if I have a concussion, if I go into a coma, if I go blind, and then I gotta sue the fuck out of this hospital, I sue the fuck out of you. Liz is like, bust the fucking move. Bust the fucking move. The lawyers will get down here before the fucking doctor will. So you do what you gotta do, my guy. He's like, okay, my bad. Let me back down. Let me back off. I'm just trying to help Willow. Liz is like, look, I can document your rusty, crusty ass shiner, but if you want to see a doctor, that's just going to be a few hours. Because, like I said, this is an emergency room. We're looking at emergencies. Emergencies only. And he's like, fine, whatever, gets Willow back. And so the next time we see him, Felicia's there, getting him his crusty paperwork. He leaves. And then Liz, Felicia, and Lucas come over and start making fun of his ass. Like, that man deserved to get punched. That man deserved to get punched. And so everything is cut short though because Maxie comes in, and now we're dealing with the ramifications of white East African warlords mob hospital. But let's go over to Sonny. So Sonny called Michael, and he was like, so I need you to tell me about you putting hands on Drew. Michael is very confused. He's like, how do you even know that? What's going on? Sonny's like, Drew came to see me before he even went to the hospital. He came straight from the Metro Court to blackmail me. So I called Diane, and now we're going to work this out. We're going to put our heads together and figure out how we get out of this. Diane is like, I need to know everything that happened. Like, was Wiley there? Michael was like, no, I sent him away before I put hands on somebody. Diane's like, ooh, I wish you hadn't done that, because now it sounds like you plan to beat his ass, and that doesn't look good for you. Michael is just like, once more, why did Drew come here and not go to the police or some shit? Sonny is like, he wants me to sell my peers to white East African warlord and force you to give Willow 50-50 custody. Michael's like, so I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Diane's like, at this point, why? Because if it stops you from going to jail, if it gets us from underneath this, why can't we just let this raggedy bitch see these kids? Michael is like, because she is a casual kidnapper. And he just lets it drop that he thinks that she kidnapped the little fair baby. And so Sonny and Diana shook. But unfortunately, they don't have proof yet. But Dante, big bro Dante's on the case. So don't even trip about that. Um, let's go over to the horny DA. Horny DA is like, Anna, I need you to open up a case against Drew Kane. Anna is like, okay, girl, hi, welcome to my office. How can I help you? You want me to open up a case against Drew Kane? Why? And the stupid horny DA is like, I can't tell you why. Girl, you've done nothing but antagonize Anna Devane for months and months and months, and now you just need her to trust you and open up a investigation on a U.S. congressman. Girl, be so fucking serious. And that's essentially what Anna tells her. Like, bitch, why would I do that? Why would I do that? Like, this sounds like a trap. Like, I investigate that man and then he turns on me and y'all get me fired. So why would I do that? Horny DA is like, listen, he's a corrupt person who goes to the criminals in this town and blackmails them. I cannot have it. She doesn't essentially say that, but she's just like, he's abusing his office. Anna's like, oh, so you want to fuck Sonny? Is that what you're saying? Horny DA is like, listen, Sonny's a criminal and I'm gonna get his ass too, but I'm gonna get Drew first. At that point, Drew comes in and he's like, I was assaulted. Give me justice. Anna's like, what are you talking about? You got a shiner, my guy. What assault? Like, what happened with that? Like, what am I supposed to do with that? The DA is like, absolutely not. A crime has been committed and we must investigate. Drew feels super, super secure and Anna knows what time it is. She's like, okay, yeah, I'll play into this. And so it Drew gets really excited. Like, cool, I'm so glad it's in your hands, girl. Thank you, Horny DA. Horny DA is like, listen, stop. Let me stop you for a sec. I didn't say that this was a slam dunk or I was even going to take this case. Because Michael could come in at any point and say that you did this, that, and the third, and now he has reasonable reasons to put hands on you. Anna was like, I second that. That's 100% true, my guy. And then it's cut in between Diane and Horny DA, but they both imply that the case will come down to its witnesses. And it is heavily applied that Martin Gray is the chief witness amongst everyone. I don't know why he would be, but that is pretty much Tuesday's episode. Like I said, not many people really move categories. Everyone's kind of where they were on Monday. But Wednesday, I have a feeling people are going to move. People are going to get active. Like, people are going to learn information. They're going to learn tea. And these categories were moved. So we're going to start again on Wednesday with the tier list and see if anyone has moved up, down. We'll figure it out. But I will be right back. See you in a sec. Okay, we're back, and it's Wednesday. Let's bring the tier list back. So, I I realized Tuesday after I recorded that I had left some vital people off of the list. So I would like to draw your attention to the active category. We have off-screen Monica added to the list. She is definitely active off-screen, and we have Cody, who has been active since last November, to be honest. Like, he's been so active. Like, it's actually crazy. If you go down to the could become active if given T, Rick Lansing has been added. I cannot believe I forgot Rick. Rick could move up or down, to be honest. Rick could move up or down. As for movement on for the cast that I did not forget, you can see that Martin Gray and Anna Devane have moved into the about to become active category, and I will get into why that is. And you can also see that Gio has moved away from the not active category to the could become active if given T category since he decided to cuss Drew out in this episode. We love to see it. But let's get into Wednesday's episode. So let's do Mob Hospital really quick. So Maxie is still dying, but she's also bringing people together. That's how powerful she is. That's how powerful Comatose Maxie is. She's bringing Lulu together with all of her enemies. It is actually crazy. But first we have Liz and Lucas. Now they're running all the tests. They're doing all the things. They're trying to figure out what, if anything, is wrong with Maxie because her heart attack has stopped, but she's still not waking up. And now we know it is the poisoned face cream because they did a close-up shot on the face cream in yesterday's episode. Here is that shot for anyone who missed it. But no one else knows as of right now in the episode. And so they go to talk to Lulu and Spinelli, who are obviously outside, very worried. And they're like, yeah, we ran all the tests. We're running more tests. We're just really waiting for her to wake up. Lulu's like, cool, can we sit with her? Lucas is like, of course, go sit with her. Spinelli is like, I would love to sit with her, but I also have 3 kids that I have not told a single weary thing about. I should go do that, but I don't want to leave Maxie. Lulu is like, you sit with Maxie, I'm gonna go handle them kids. She goes to do that. While she gets to Maxie's house. It used to be Lulu's house. That's why I get confused about the house. This used to be Lulu's house before she went into a coma. And now it's Maxie's house, but now she's going into a coma. Are they going to switch houses? Is this how their friendship works? That is not important. Maxie is dying. Let's keep it cute. Lulu goes to the house. Spinelli is still at the hospital with Maxie, and he decides to propose to Maxie while she is comatose. Now, if you do not know, they have just announced that Ryan Pavey, who played Nathan, Maxie's, like, I guess, according to the show, one true love, is coming back to the show. So, like, having Spinelli propose to comatose Maxie the day that they announced that Nathan is potentially coming back is foul business. I love that shit. Yes, this is what soaps are about. But, Spinelli's proposing. Lulu goes over to Maxie's house, like I said, to relieve Emma, who's very, very worried. We do get a very cute Gemma scene at the Metro Court pool where Emma's like, I'm so, so worried. And Gio relays some of his trauma about his mom dying of cancer. It's very cute. But Lulu's at the house trying to figure out a way to tell Maxie's kids what's going on. Here comes Liesel. Now, for Liesel's credit, she does not try to strong arm her way in there. She's not like, this is my grandson, you don't have domain here. She does really understand what time it is, and she's like, look, I just came to see my grandson at this time because it's so, his mom is in the hospital, but if you would like me to leave, I will leave. Lulu was like, no, please stay, please see your grandson. It's not her house. She gave it to Maxie. And so Liesel comes in, Georgie and James come out like screaming at each other, and Liesel has to tell them that their mom is in the hospital. They don't know what's wrong with her. James doesn't believe it at first. He thinks that Georgie's just saying it to get to him for some reason, but Liesel has to be like, no, she is in the hospital actually, and you just gotta let the doctors find out what's going on. And Lulu is very appreciative of Liesel. She thanks her for helping her tell the kids, and she's decided to lighten up on Liesel. That's how powerful comatose Maxie is. She has gotten Lulu to lighten up on Liesel talking to her son. Now, I have been on Lulu's side the entire time, to be honest. Like, if you don't want this terrorist bitch to talk to your son, that's fine with me. But also, if you want to chill the fuck out about that too, that's also cool, to be honest. I just think it's interesting that she is making up with this terrorist bitch who stole her embryo before she's making up with Brooklyn. Now, before you jump on my mentions, like, well, Brooklyn tried to drug Dante and did all the things. She has forgiven Carly for that. And it was Carly's idea. And I know that that's her cousin. I'm just saying it's complicated. A lot of people have done things. Like, if we could open up our hearts to terrorists, maybe we could open up our hearts to our ex-husband's baby mama. That's all I'm saying. But That is Lulu and Liesel. Felicia, Mac, and Cody are obviously at the hospital and they're all freaking out. Anna goes to see Felicia and they talk, and it's very sad because Felicia's like, what if my miracles run out? And Anna has to be like, girl, I don't think that's how miracles work. To be honest, like Maxie's gonna come through this. Nitpick. Felicia says like, "Oh, Maxie, her heart has done so much. Like, she found love with Nathan, and then she found love again with Spinelli. So timeline wise, she loves Spinelli first. Like she loves Spinelli first. She met Nathan after Spinelli essentially left her to be with another woman and take their baby across the country. And so Nathan is the definition of a rebound, and she was rebounding from Spinelli. So I'm just gonna throw that out there before they usher in the Naxie versus Spixie triangle that we're all going to have to sit through. Um, Pick your sides, pick your ships, pick your Maxi centered ship. But she's talking to Anna, and it's very cute because they're besties. Mac is talking to Cody, and Cody is talking about how Maxi's the first person who really welcomed me into the family. Max says how like raising Robin, Maxie, and Georgie was like the greatest privilege of his life. It's just this Maxi story is really hitting on all fronts because like you're going into history. It's so good to have Felicia here with like BJ's heart. Like yesterday we saw Felicia and Lucy. Lucy was there for that stuff. We have Lucas, Lucas Jones, the son of Tony and Bobby, who were BJ's parents, saving Maxi. It's hitting on all fronts. I really, really like this story way more than I thought I would. But Lucas in the end comes out and he says that there's like a weird enzyme in Maxie's blood, and Anna Duvain is there, and so her spy senses start tingling pretty much immediately, and she thinks that Maxie was poisoned, and of course we know that she was poisoned by the face cream, and so that is Mob Hospital. Oddly enough, there are zero mobsters in it currently, because the mobsters have all been sucked into Delusional Hospital, and so while they are still mobbing, they're also fighting off Drew Kane. And so Maxie is just over here poisoned by herself with her family in Mob Hospital. But let's go over to Black Hospital, who is also currently fighting off Delusional Hospital. So Curtis calls Alexis to help Stella because, not even because Martin can't, just because Martin ain't shit. He's just like, listen, Martin's alright, but I want my auntie to have the best. And so Alexis, murder with somebody with your car, Davis, you're up to bat. She's like, bet, we used to be family, even though Tolly broke up. Okay, y'all can still be family, like it's fine. But she puts that we used to be. Of course Stella don't want the help. She is like, I Jesus will protect me. Like, the Lord knows that I am on the side of right, and his light will protect me. And they pretty much have to beg her to get a lawyer. They're like, Stella, sometimes we cannot let Jesus take the wheel. Sometimes we have to let the lawyer take the wheel, okay? And so she agrees to let Alexis be her lawyer, and then just casually admits to doing insurance fraud from time to time. Like, just like, yeah, I did that shit. And I'm like, damn, you're not even gonna be like, well, maybe, or like it could have been an oversight, or it could have been all the things. And like some of my followers on Twitter work in social services. They're social workers, like they deal with this type of stuff, and they were all like, listen, you would never fucking admit you would never admit to doing what she's admitting to doing. However, because this is soap, because this is fiction, I do like that the show is kind of leaning into this like Medicare for all storyline, because Stella is really like, yeah, I did that shit, but it's actually fucking crazy that these people like pay their premiums, they do everything they're supposed to do, and like the insurance company, who loves a fucking loophole, like waits until they're in the most desperate time of their life to be like, actually, we're gonna cut off all your care, have a nice fucking death. I kind of love that we're leaning into that. Like, I'm sure we're not gonna do it hard. Like, Drew's just gonna get his comeuppance and it's gonna disappear. We're not gonna really talk about it. But if they wanted to have someone steal Drew's seat and run on some Medicare for all for Port Charles, like some covered Port Charles platform, I would love that shit. That's all I'm saying. But Alexis is like, cool, so you're just out here committing insurance fraud. Thank you for letting me know. How many times have you done that? And she's just like seven times. Like, Just so specific. Just so specific. Even Martin, not Martin, even Curtis is like, okay, so you just like pulled that number out your ass. And she's like, I went through all my cases and I'm very clear on the times when I had to do insurance fraud. Like, I'm just going to keep it cute. And so she ends up dropping that Martin is one of her clients, like her patients. I'm not really sure how you say that. Her clients, her patients, her cases. Y'all can correct me in the comments. But she lets it drop that Martin is one of those people that she did casual insurance fraud for. And Alexis and Curtis know exactly what time it is when it comes to Drew. Like they now it's just about, did Martin do that shit on purpose? And Stella's like, he wouldn't do that on purpose. He's been nothing but grateful. Like I cannot imagine that he would do it. And Curtis does give Martin the benefit of the doubt, and he's like, listen, he probably said that shit on the fly, thinking that Drew is less of an ain't shit person than he thought. And now here we are. And so this is why Martin is not active yet. Like Alexis and Curtis were already active. So if they weren't already active, they would have moved straight into the active category right now. Stella, I'm still going to keep her in the about to become. I don't think Stella would become active. She's too much of a, like, she seems like she loves God too much to actually put, she's like, I'm gonna let the Lord handle that man. I'm not gonna put my hands on him. And so she gonna probably remain in that category, but you know, Martin is moving swiftly into the active category because I can't wait to get to him. But yeah, essentially Black Hospital knows that Drew sent the feds on Stella. And so let's go over to Delusional Hospital. So Drew is a menace, which is why it's the title of this episode. But Drew is a fucking menace, and he will not leave the Metro Court pool. He will not leave the Metro Court in general, which is crazy because like Carly out here straight throwing Nina out the Metro Court. Where's this energy for this man? This man should not be able to plot to put your son in prison from your pool. Carly, get on it. Come on now. But Drew is at the pool. He's trying to talk to Gio, and he's just like, ooh, you know, you and me got a lot in common because we both don't fuck with the Quartermains. Gio's like, we don't have anything in common, you old bitch. What are you talking about? Like, what are you actually talking about? I don't go around fucking my nephew's wife. I don't go around digging up people's family members trying to throw them on a fucking trash heap. Like, you beefing with my granddad and I don't beef with him, so that's also a difference. Like, we nothing alike. And he leaves. Like, Martin does try to be like, well, that sounds like Tracy talking. And he's like, listen, my grandma might be a lot of things, but she's not wrong about y'all. So have a nice day. And he leaves. When Gio is not going up against the high ranking Corinthos, he really good at a step two. Because that step two went perfectly. That was not a failed step two. Good job, Gio. But that's how Gio moved into could become active if given the right tea. Because he just proved to Drew, like, bro, I'm not on your side. I'm not on your side. And I could jump into activeness at any point. I could get activated at the drop of a hat. Just to let you know. But Drew is like, whatever. Like, he arrogant like the Quartermains and Corinthos. And he goes to talk to Martin. And he's telling Martin how he's about to get rid of Sonny. Martin is like, how you gonna do that? That man been around for 35 years. How we doing that? Explain that to me like I'm dumb. He tells Martin that he turned in Michael for assault. And Martin is like, what assault? What assault? What you talking about? You mean what happened last night? And Drew is just all like, listen, that man attacked the sitting congressman. I could have gone blind. I could have had a concussion. I could have gone into a coma. Would have had a brain aneurysm and exploded. So many things could have happened. And so I need that man in jail. Martin tries to explain, like, listen, so that shit could not, like, that might not go the way you want it to go. To be honest, like, just because you saying some shit happened doesn't mean that anyone's gonna believe you. Michael owns Aurora and Curtis runs it, and they can just run all these smear campaigns against you, all these fluff pieces against Michael, and taint the jury. Like, that should go horribly wrong. Drew lets it drop that he casually turned in Stella for insurance fraud. Martin is like, okay. And so, like I said, about to become active. So let's go to the PCPD. Horny DA calls Michael down to question him about the assault, and Sonny is fucking pissed. Sonny is pissed. He comes down like this is when Michael killed Claudia. He said, I punched that man, actually. He did not say that, but he does take her into the interrogation room. And he's like, girl, what you playing at? What are you actually playing at? Because you know that Drew did that shit on purpose, made Michael hit him. She's like, well, he committed a crime. He reported it. What am I supposed to do? Sonny's like, I don't know. Slow that shit down. Drag your feet. Do what you got to do. She's like, I'm not gonna abuse my position. He's like, so you gonna prosecute my son? She's like, I can't. And she tells him that if it went to trial, that she would just recuse herself, but she gonna let that shit rock. Sonny's like, okay, whatever, girl. Michael and Diane are outside, and Michael is pretty much like, Diane, if I end up going to prison, just make sure that crusty bitch Willow don't get these kids, because fuck her. She stole my affair baby. Diane's like, we don't have any proof that she stole the affair baby. Michael's like, I know that hoe did it, and Dante gonna give me the proof. Don't even trip. Like, my big bro Dante got me. And so, Horny D and Sonny come out. Chase comes in because he was the one investigating this. Now, I have said for weeks, I don't know why, like, we're pulling Dante off investigations, but not Chase, when Chase is only like a few degrees less connected to all these people, all the main characters of the show, than Dante. Like, Dante might be Michael's brother, but Chase live in the same house with him. I don't understand. Like, Chase was invited to the christening, started snitching. Like, started snitching immediately. I guess that's why she trusts him. But Chase comes in, Drew and Martin come in, and it's made very clear very quickly that this is all going to come down to the word of Martin Gray. Because the horny DA is like, so what the other witnesses say? And Chase is like, they said they didn't see nothing. They said there was no assault. They're like, what you talking about? I was having a nice, lovely dinner. I saw Drew Kane being a fucking menace, torturing kids, but I ain't see no fight. Carly Keat, she run that Metro Court like a fucking military. She said, y'all didn't see nothing. You saw no evil, you hear no evil, you speak no evil, if you want to keep your 401k. The patrons, I want to know, like, if I'm Drew, I'm like, how many of these people got comped rooms? Like, the patrons, nobody saw shit. That's what we learned. And so Drew flips out. He starts accusing everybody. He starts accusing Chase, which is like, why are you channeling me, Drew? Now you have common sense. Now we don't trust Chase, but like, not trusting Chase seems to like push Horny DA over the edge. She's like, you are not going to impugn my investigator. It is very funny. He accuses Sonny and Carly of like bribing the staff and patrons of the Metro Course. Sonny's like, that shit's harassment. I'm gonna call my lawyer. Thank God she here. Diane's like, noted. Sonny also made fun of Drew for even going to the hospital for the. He's like, you went to the hospital for a shiner. You old bitch. And so, essentially, the horny DA is like, listen. So you ain't got no witnesses. I'm not going to bring a case against the son of the town mobster based on your crusty fucking word. So you got something else? He's like, my lawyer. And so Drew like types out his statement. It is the most bullshit statement you've ever heard in your life. He's just talking about Michael attacked me and I could have died. And he said he was threatening to kill me. Michael was doing so much for people to not hear shit, to be honest. And so horny DA goes to Martin and she's like, so if all this is true, you should sign this statement. And it ends with on it like a cliffhanger of whether or not Martin is going to sign the statement. $10 says that Martin is not going to sign the statement because he is pissed about Aunt Stella. But that is Wednesday. Let's pull up the Wednesday tier one more time. Like I said, Gio, Martin, and Anna are now in the about to become, well, Gio is still in the could become active given T, but Martin and Anna are definitely about to become active. I assume Martin will become active before Anna, but we're gonna see. Let me go watch Thursday really quick and I'll be right back. Okay, and we're back. It is Thursday, and let's bring the tier list back because we've had significant movement in the active or not active or Team Drew. As you can see, Willow is now back in Team Drew. Now, I've had several people contact me on Twitter about this, and they're saying, and like other places where I talk to people, and they're like, maybe this is an act. I hear you, but her act requires her to be in Team Drew, so she is now in Team Drew. She is not active against him anymore. She has fallen all the way down into Team Drew. On the other hand, Martin Gray is now active against Drew. He's out here doing things to actively harm this man. And so I wanted to point that out. It's a big, significant jump. We have so many people in the active or about to become active category. And almost everyone in the active category wants this man dead, like wants him unalived. And so let's get into it. Okay, first things first, we got to talk about Mobless Hospital. So I could rename this and make it Maxie's Hospital. I'm not going to do that because I'm waiting for White East African Warlord to return and for Sunny to get blamed somehow, because I have a feeling that the fact that Maxie was going to come out against Sunny is going to rear its ugly head in this story. So I'm going to keep it in Mob Hospital. But since we are not talking about the mob at all, nobody has any clue that this is a Mob Hospital storyline, we're going to call it Mobless Hospital. This is Mobless Hospital. And so over at Mobless Hospital, we got Obrecht and Lulu making up. So Obrecht lets it drop that, if Maxie don't wake up, she might slip into a coma. Is she not already in a coma? I will just be talking about her for the rest of this segment as if she is already in a coma, because that is too confusing for me. I am not in STEM in any way, shape, or form. I am a historian. And when you are asleep and you shouldn't be asleep, I just consider that a coma. So I'm going to refer to it as that, but apparently she's not there yet. I just wanted to point that out. We're not there yet. But she's on a ventilator, so how much more sleep does she need to get before we're like, oh, she's in a coma? Let me know in the comments if you know the difference, because I genuinely just do not know, and I do not feel like Googling it. I'm not going to let Cody bully me into Googling some shit that I should probably just Google. Anyway, Ulbrich essentially tells Lulu that Maxie might fall into one of them 4-year long soap comas. Kirsten said that she would not be falling into a 4-year long soap coma, so I'm going to choose to believe that. A few months at best. But Lulu decides to make up with Obrecht. She's like, oh, maybe I came in a little too hot because you're a terrorist and shit. Girl, okay. I do not like Lulu as a character enough to continue to defend her against terrorists if she can't defend herself. That's what I'll say. So I'm cool with it. If she want to make up with Obrecht and let this terrorist bitch see her grandson, see her son, and she thinks it's her grandson, and the math don't math on that, whatever. Okay. She does still say fuck Brit. So we will get some fuck Brit energy when Brit rears her beautiful head, because I'm not gonna pretend like Kelly Seabaugh an ugly person. That's crazy. But when she rears her head back in Port Charles. So we will still be having that. But they essentially make up, and she acknowledges that Rocco was the one to call her. Lisa's like, you know what? I should have talked to y'all. He is a minor. I just got excited. I'm sorry. But they make up, and I'll allow it. I'm not going to be like, here's why that shouldn't have happened, or here's why I'm just going to allow it. I don't care. Great. Great. Let's Lulu have an attitude, making people make moves they don't want to make. Brooklyn is at the Q mansion. She's at the stables with Tracy, who's covering for Cody, because Cody's obviously over at the hospital dealing with Mobless Hospital. And Brooklyn is like, I just feel so bad because I want to be there for Maxie, but me and Lulu hate each other, and so I can't be there for Maxie because then we're going to devolve into a bitch fight in the middle of the hospital while Maxie's in a coma. And so Tracy is like, you don't have to do that though, to be honest. Brooklyn is like, listen, Maxie and Lulu grew up together. I'm going to stop you right there. They did not really grow up together. They grew up in the same town, but they were off-screen children together, I guess. But once they saw as them, and you had Kirsten Storms playing Maxie Jones and Julie Marie Berman playing Lulu, They spent the first like year and a half, 2 years fucking hating each other. Like hating each other the way that Lulu and Brooklyn hate each other. And it would have been better to introduce that history rather than this, like, well, they grew up together because they didn't. They didn't actually. Or if they did, we didn't see it. So it does not matter. It does not count. I saw them fighting over like in the closet Lucas Jones, who is related to both of them. Um, I saw them fighting over. I don't know. Was Lulu fighting over him? That might have just been Brooklyn and them. Y'all can correct me once more in the comments about that storyline. I remember everyone falling in love with Lulu. That was an annoying time on GH where just everyone wants to be with fucking Lulu and no one but her. I remember all that and Maxie not having any fucking time for it. And it wasn't until Scott Baldwin was screaming at her and Maxie was like, that shit ain't right, that they became besties. Okay, so all I'm saying is like we can use history better than this. That's all I'm saying. And that's a minor complaint. That's just a minor complaint because I actually really enjoy Mobless Hospital starring Maxie Jones. Um, but Tracy essentially tells her, like, you gotta make up with Lulu because if you can't be there for Maxie, you're gonna regret that shit. You're gonna be real upset about that. And so she goes to call Lulu. Lulu texts her because Lulu, realizing that she has actually made up with the terrorist who stole her embryo before she made up with Brooklyn, is actually fucking crazy. And so she's like, let me rectify that. Let me rectify that real quick. For those, because there are people who are like, listen, she did what she did to Dante. Like I said before, she not mad at Carly. She made up with her. And that was her plan. Like, she was paying hoes to drug Dante and sleep with them. That's all I'm saying. And I love Carly. I love the Spencers. I don't like Lulu, but I do love the Spencers as a whole. Just saying. But Lulu calls Brooklyn to Maxie's house and they end up, like they're not saying they're going to be besties. They're not pledging their like lifelong friendship to each other. They're just like, we're not going to bitch at each other during this time. We're going to like do our part to like get Maxie through this, which I respect, right? Like I don't need Brooklyn and Lulu to be friends. They just need to be able to be in a room with one another, to be honest. Like I get why Lulu didn't call or didn't walk over and tell Carly or Nina that night when they were like throwing each other in the pool about Maxie, just because Brooklyn and Lulu are a form of Nina and Carly and they will fight in the hospital and pull fucking focus. And that's just what it is. Like, it is what it is. And so I'm glad they weren't there. Just saying. But let's go to Cody. So Cody is trying to be there for his family, his newfound family, which is like, yikes. This is you go your whole life without a family, and now like you're having to learn how to be in a family in the worst situation. But he's trying to be there for Felicia. He's trying to be there for Mac. He's trying to get people food. He goes to Bobby's where he runs into Molly and ignores her ass because she's trying to talk to him about horses, and I have never been more on Cody Bell's side. Like, girl, if you don't get the fuck out of my face about this, do not talk to me about shit you can Google when I'm going through some shit. Now, Molly doesn't know about this, but I actually find it kind of crazy that she doesn't know about that. That's another minor complaint. Why wouldn't Molly know about this? Like, in our social media, phone in our hands era, like, why wouldn't that just pop up as like local news? Hey, local business owner Maxie Jones fell out on the Home Shopping Network. I'm just saying. But she didn't know. And so he essentially is like, Google that shit, girl, and leaves. He goes to talk to Tracy, who is taking care of the stables. Like I said, it's very cute. And he talks about how all his regrets, like how he's been in this town for like, I don't know, like 3 years. When did he come? 2022? I cannot remember. But he's been here for 3 years and he spent most of that time lying to people, not being with his family, and how he just regrets that. And Tracy's just like, my guy, regrets are for losers and poor people because that shit happened. I love Tracy. She's so funny. But I really like these scenes. I even like his scenes. Like, his scenes are hitting, and I did not think that I would care for his like entrance into this storyline. Like, there's so much history. Like, why would I want to hear about this man's off screen woes? But he's not talking about off screen woes. He's literally talking about shit that's happened since he's been on the show and his own behavior and how he was doing some ain't shit things. And now he feels bad about it. And like, I can't deny his chemistry with the people that he's paired with. So like, he's got great chemistry with the Scorpio Jones contingent. He's got great chemistry with Tracy. Like, I don't think anyone can have bad chemistry with Jane. He's got great chemistry with Kristen Vaganos, who plays Molly. Like, it's really hitting on all cylinders. Like, I want to be like a hater of this character, and I can't. I can't. Like, I don't like him. I'm not cheerleading. I do kind of cheer. I do like him. I don't know why I'm trying to pretend like I don't like this character. Like, it's a fictional character. Who gives a shit? Yeah, I like Cody Bell. I don't mind his ass. That's what I'm gonna say. They've seemed to found a good groove with that character, and so I'm cool with this character. I genuinely do not mind Cody Bell anymore. Go figure. But Tracy helps him through that. She's kind of like the wise sage of this episode. She's deeply channeling her mother, which I like. They found a really good way to make Tracy a really good blend of both Edward and Lila, where like she's ruthless when she needs to be ruthless, but then she's also just here and got good advice to give and kind. It's actually really great. Geo, go talk to your great grandmother, okay? She will help you. Um, but it ends with Cody, back at the stables doing stuff, and Ava comes by to see him. He's like, "Yeah, I don't have time for this. Like, I'm not doing a honey pot right now. I'm sorry." She's like, "Oh, I'm cashing in my rain check," and he seems like he's about to crash out on Christina's hospital. He really does seem like, fuck this, I'm a better man than this. And so we'll see what happens on Friday with that. But let's no, before I go over to Christina's hospital, we do have a nice scene with Felicia and Liesel. Liesel goes to see Maxie. Liesel's really playing, she's really using kid gloves in the situation. Like, if y'all don't want me here, I don't have to be here. Like, this is not about me. And Felicia's like, nah, you're family. Of course you can come and be with Maxie. Like, come on, girl, let's sit with her. And so that's Mobless Hospital. I'm sure the mob will return in it next week. And so let's go to Christina's hospital. Christina is back in Christina's hospital. It is no longer Christina List Hospital. She is back. And so Molly and this crazy novel that she is writing, where she's trying to bang both Cody Bell and apparently Clint Buchanan. Is she not referencing the Clint Buchanan from One Life to Live? I'm gonna put his picture up. This the last Clint Buchanan we had, so that's why his picture's going up. But like, what is going on? The Buchanans are a famous family, and they talk about Lambview all the time, and so it's very weird that she would put the name Clint Buchanan. Like, is Vicky not Lulu's boss? Whatever. I'm thinking about this too much. But she's having this crazy fantasy where she is in the Wild West with this, extra and Cody Bell. It's very extreme. That's when Cody comes in to get the food for the family, and she asks him about horses, and he's like, girl, bye. Christina comes in after that, and Molly's like, Cody's so rude. Like, he was rude to me. All I did was ask him about horses, and he didn't want to talk to me. And Christina's like, look, I know I told you this was an ancient man, but maybe you should back off because Maxie's in the hospital. And like I said, Molly's like, oh my God, I had no idea. How did you not know about this? How did you not know about what was happening in Moble's hospital? Honestly, girl. But Molly is back to being like, you know what, maybe Cody is a really good guy. Like, Christina's like, okay, I gotta go. Uh Molly ends up leaving and running into Michael, and like has more fantasies about Cody. Some flashbacks this time. Now we don't have the Wild Wild West scene. We got flashbacks. I'm not gonna show them. But she runs into Michael and she's like, I like Cody. And so the one thing I like about this is that we're emphasizing Molly's relationship with Michael, because they pretty much were raised like siblings. So it's good that they talk, because they seem like they don't even freaking know each other sometimes. But let's go over to Nina and Ava. Nina's still showing up at this pool after Carly threw her ass in the pool is so fucking funny. Like Nina said, I'm not fucking leaving. I'm not fucking leaving. And Ava just being there after Christina's dead baby summer, where Christina flew out a window into the fucking pool. These bitches got nothing but audacity. That's why I love their friendship. It is so so funny to me. But Nina is visiting Christina's hospital because she usually stays at Delusional Hospital, but she's decided to have lunch with Ava at Christina's hospital and tell her about how she lives to lie to Willow's face. She just loves to lie to Willow. She cannot help herself. She's obsessed. But she tells her how she is secretly paying Rick to be Willow's lawyer, and Ava's like, "Cool, let me right click save that info." Let me save that for a fucking rainy day. Nina's like, please do not narc out Rick because Willow is poor. She is dead poor and she cannot afford a lawyer. And so, if you narc out Rick, then Elizabeth will tell Willow and she'll fire Rick. And so, please don't do that. Ava is definitely gonna do that. I'm sorry, Nina. Like, if you have not learned by now that your friendship is not based on trust but on shared shenanigans, like all y'all do is live to gag each other with your crazy bullshit storylines that usually never intersect. But the second they intersect and you give Ava tea, she will be using it. She will be using it to her advantage. So I don't know why you keep doing this, Nina. But sure, I look forward to that. Let's go over to Rick and Liz. Rick, the way Nina lives to lie to her daughter's face, Rick lives to lie to women's face in general. Like, he just loves to lie to a woman. Ava, Liz, Willow, his own daughter, everybody. If you have two X chromosomes, he will lie to you for absolutely no reason. But he is really just trying to date Elizabeth Baldwin in front of Ava's face. Like, you couldn't just go up to her and be like, hey, I'm having lunch with a friend, but it's so great to see you. He really acted like he didn't see Ava. Like, I don't see her. Who that? Who's she? Who is she? And so Ava's like, wow. Wow. Liz is also just oblivious. She's just like, oh my God, thank you so much. You're doing me a favor by being Willow's lawyer. Liz is so involved in Delusional Hospital, which she does not have to be. She does not have to be, but she is. She's just in it. She's in it to fucking win it. And so Liz ends up, thanking him and then bouncing to go back to Delusional Hospital. Ava comes up to him to ask him why she is locked out of their money. And he's like, oh, it's just for a few days. It's just so we can, like, because you've been buying too many lights. Like, you go too hard. So I'm just locking it up for a few days. He immediately calls Alexis the second that she walks away. Like, girl, get your ass down to the pool because I need to talk to you. Alexis comes down and he essentially tells her the same shit that Ava said. Like, just give me one more payment and then we're done. You're good. And Alexis is like, cool. Awesome. Love to hear it. So that shit's about to come to a head. I do not know how, but there is no way we are getting out of Christina's hospital that easy. I would love for us to get out of Christina's hospital that easy, but I feel like we're not. I don't know how. I don't know why, but we're not. And so let's move on. Let's go to Delusional Hospital. Yes, we're going to be at Delusional Hospital for the rest of the episode because it sucked. The mob portion of Mob Hospital into it. Black Hospital is trapped in it. It is this such a powerful storyline. Drew Kane. If you told me last year that the most entertaining character on this show was gonna be Cameron Matheson playing Drew Kane, I would have called you a liar. I would have been like, I don't know what you're talking about. Drew? Goofy Cameron? GMA3 Cameron is gonna be the greatest villain that GH has seen in at least 5 years? And at least, I mean, like, let's go back like 7, 8 years. Like, I'm not putting him in the same league as Peter August. Peter August wishes he could Drew Kane. He wishes he could be this fucking maniacal. just like mustache twirling and just telling people to their face that he gonna keep torturing their children to get his fucking wife back. I want to keep sleeping with my nephew's ex-wife, and so I plan on torturing his children for the foreseeable future. Drew Kane is so crazy and powerful, but while we're in delusional hospital, we need to go over to Black Hospital as it tries to fight back from the gravitational pull of Delusional Hospital. So Curtis, he wants to pop off on Drew. He's like, I'm going to run every terrible story that has ever been run. I'm going to tell everybody that that man is trash. He literally calls him trash and like that he is an ancient man. Alexis is like, ooh, you might make him an enemy. Curtis is like, he already my enemy. What are you talking about? Like, I'm about to make him my enemy. Like, he went after my auntie. And so he's popping off. Stella's like, nah, 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 because I'm guilty. Stella, like, she is still like, what I did was the right thing, but it was breaking the law, according to Alexis. And so she's still very much on her, the Lord will find a way for me. The Lord will find a way for me. And so I still am going to keep her on the about to become active because I feel like if Drew was to go directly for Curtis, like he still hasn't gone directly at Curtis, or if we put hands on Curtis, that would make Stella active. And so I'm not going to move her down. But, she is pretty much, kind of like, well, I guess I'm gonna lose my job. Alexis is like, you could go to jail. Like, this is not about losing your job anymore. But let's go over to Martin really quick. So Martin is at the PCPD, and as it was stated yesterday, everything's coming down to him and him signing this clearly false ass statement because Drew is really saying that Michael was screaming and shouting, but no one heard any of that because he really just kind of sucker punched him really quickly, and is one of those things where like I'm not gonna go back and watch, but like, did anyone even gasp or was it just like punch? But Martin definitely saw it, but he's like, yeah, I'm not signing shit. I'm not signing nothing. So what's good? Drew pulls his ass to like the hallway. And he's like, so what you playing at? What the fuck's going on? What you mean you're not gonna sign this? Like, you do what the fuck I say. Martin's like, bruh, I'm your lawyer, not your fucking slave. Like, this is not how this works. And so, you want some legal advice? Back the fuck down. And Drew is like, ooh, you really try to be out here. Martin is like, you're the one who set the feds on Stella. So fuck you. Drew is like, well, also now you got a conscience. Now you care about Stella. He's like, you were so busy trying to get Curtis, you didn't care how you did it. And you fucked up because you've now crossed the bridge that I'm not going with you on. So what's good? Drew is like, so you signed that fucking paper or you're fired. And then you could be poor and you can't pay your ex-wives. Martin is like, cool, let's go do this. And essentially walks out and tells the DA, like, he's not signing nothing. He don't remember nothing. Like, he's got to go. And so Drew is fucking pissed. He goes over to Black Hospital to apologize to Stella. They are so devastated. Just so devastated this is happening. I was like, oh, damn, Martin, like, you should have known this is ancient man, but it's fine. You active against Drew now. He legit says that's my enemy. Diane is essentially like, so my client's not gonna be answering no questions because why we gotta answer questions? Because like nothing happened. Drew is fucking pissed. He starts reading everybody. He like cusses out the horny DA and accuses her of being horny for Sunny, which is true, but it doesn't mean shit because like she don't have a case. So even if she is horny for Sunny, what's she supposed to do? Just take your word for it when you an A shit man and everybody in town knows it? And so she's essentially like, bruh, why don't you go back to serving your constituents and stop wasting my fucking time? And so then he me mugs and threatens Sonny and Michael some more and says that he gonna keep torturing them kids and bounces. Sonny flirts with the horny DA and she's like, oh, thank you so much. Oh, she's like, oh, like, I The congressman is bad. Look at her face. She's definitely fucking this man. She's definitely fucking this man. But Diane does not like it one bit. She waits outside for Sonny, and she's like, "So, sir, what you playing at? What you playing at? Like, are you playing her or is she playing you? Like, let me know how many billable hours I'm about to get." And so we'll see what happens with, I mean, she's definitely gonna be fucking this man. So we'll see what happens legally between Sonny and the horny DA. But Drew leaves and he goes to see Willow and lie to her face some more because he lives for that shit. But Drew kind of lives to lie to the whole town. Like, Nina likes to lie specifically to Willow. She used to love lying to Sunny, but now she professionally lies to Willow. Rick loves lying to women in general. And so he lives for that shit. Doesn't matter if it's ex-wife or his daughter. Like, he will be lying to her. While Drew just lies to everyone, including himself. Right? But he goes to see Willow and essentially tells her that the Corinthi Mob Hospital has like completely corrupted the justice system and she's never gonna see her kids again. She's just like, well, I guess I gotta get back with you, and she hugs him. Now, she does look very tense in the hug. She doesn't look happy to be there. This could be an act, but even if it's an act, like, she's choosing to like put herself back in this man's crosshairs. So you team Drew. You team Drew. At the fruition of the story, I will redo the tier list because I'm not going to do this every week. But at the end of Delusional Hospital, I will give the final tier list of who was and wasn't active against Drew. But currently she's now team Drew. Now, Nina had gone to the hospital. She left Christina's hospital, went back to Delusional Hospital, went to see where Willow is. Elizabeth's like, she's in the bake room because it's some mother, like, oh, she's a mother, I'm a mother, let me give her grace. Okay. Nina ends up seeing Drew hugging up on Willow. Now, she cannot see Willow's face. And like we can, and I watching the episode again, I can see that Willow's still like, this is ain't shit man. And I'm still putting her in Team Drew. Like, look at her down here in Team Drew, right next to disloyal ex-football player. But that is Thursday. Let me go watch Friday, and I will be right back. Okay, and it's finally Friday, and so let's bring up the tier list. And so, surprising movement happening. Liz has moved from the could become active if given tea into not active. I don't think this was her intention. I don't think she likes it one bit. But unfortunately, that is where she has landed at the end of the week. And if she's not active, that means Rick is not active. Like, I do not care that Nina's paying him. Like, if Liz is not active against Drew, then Rick is not active against Drew. And so there are literally only 9 characters on the canvas not actively trying to get Drew or could become active at any moment in time. And it is Rocco. And not to say he's not, I just haven't heard his perspective. So he could move right next to his brother Gio at any second. Lulu, who once more, just haven't seen it. Same with Emma. Maxie's gonna stay right where she is because she is comatose, unfortunately. Like I said, I don't know the difference between being on a ventilator and conscious and being comatose. So she's comatose. So she cannot be active at all. She's not Team Drew, but she's not active. And then Liz and Rick are also, they have deactivated at the end of this storyline. And so let's get into it. Let's finish up the week strong and talk about Mobless Hospital. So Mobless Hospital, it's just like a tiny snippet of Mobless Hospital because Laura goes to visit Lulu at Maxie's house that used to be her house and just comforts her because Lulu is scared and Laura's just like, it's gonna be okay, we just gotta be her guiding light trying to get back to us because Maxie is or isn't in a coma. And that was Mobless Hospital. Let's move on to Spy Hospital because I actually could not put Mobless Hospital behind Spy Hospital. That would have been crazy. So let's do Spy Hospital. Carly and Pikeman, the plumber. So Pikeman goes to visit Carly technically at Moblis Hospital because she ends up asking him to fix her garbage disposal at Bobby's and tells him about the BJ's heart saga. She's telling him and anyone who's not aware, and it's necessary lore dumping. And so, like, I didn't hear any like chatter about this, but like, I think they had Carly tell Pikeman, one, because he does not know, he's a new character, and because she is connected to it. So, like, was there better people to tell this tale? Yeah, probably. But it was literally just a lore dump for newer viewers who were not watching regularly at that time. Like, I was like, quote, watching with my mom, but I was also like, I think 5 when that story came out. So just saying, like, we needed it. We do get another, like, nothing matters more to me than my kids. And we see that Dollar Tree Dex has yet to check in with Pikeman. And so, this is about to be bad. Carly also says that she couldn't go on and she lost another child. And I'm like, girl, you have 2 more children. Like, so if another one gets taken out the game, you're just like, well, sorry, Donna. Like, you're on your own. Okay, sure, I get what she was saying, but honestly, like, okay. But that is Carly and Pikeman. So now we got Jason does his own honeypot. We are not at a honeypot summer. We are still honeypotting it up all over the shop. We got Emma's honeypot, which is kind of stalled because we haven't seen Kane from Y&R in weeks. Then we got, who is it? We got Cody's honeypot with Ava. Yes, Cody. And now we got Jason's honeypot with curly-haired recast courier, because she does have curly hair, but she's a recast. And Jason, apparently nondescript European manager, sent her to honeypot him. I'm not sure. A honeypot is taking place. That's all you need to know. But Jason is down regardless because it makes Britt jealous, and that totally works. Britt is jealous as hell. She's just like snooping around the corner. He's ordering champagne. I love when people just order just like types of alcohol, but they do not get specific. Like, champagne, like, what kind of champagne do you want? Dry? Do you want brut? Which brand do you want? Like, because if I'm the bartender, I'm bringing this man the most expensive glass of champagne we sell. That's how my tip is good. But they just get champagne. Nondescript European manager runs up behind Britt like, bitch, what are you doing? Like, what's going on? She tells him some lies about the air conditioner, like the saga of this air conditioner that we've heard for the past 3 weeks. Like, so much about this damn air conditioner. And he says that he sent curly-haired recast courier over to honeypot, not Jason, because he doesn't know that's Jason Morgan, and tells her that the WSB is here at the Sandals Resort, essentially. WSB here, girl. Here is my question. Does the curly-haired recast reception or courier not know about Jason Morgan? I feel like he was all over the MetroCorp pool when she was at the MetroCorp pool, because Carly owns that pool, and like, she doesn't recognize him. Okay, whatever. She's a recast. That's the answer. The other curly-haired courier woman saw him, but she did not. Whatever. But I noticed it. But Britt is sufficiently jealous, and she ends up going to see Jason. So that's Jason does a honeypot. Joss and Dollar Tree Dex, they cannot find Britt, which I find hilarious because Jason cannot stop running into her. Not only does he run into her all the time, he's already found her room and she has found his. So, like, what is going on with Joss and Dollar Tree Dex where they can't find nothing? Like, they don't know their ass from their elbows at the Sandals Resort. But Dollar Tree Dex is like, we gotta leave. And Joss is like, I'm gonna go look one more time while you snitch. She almost runs into Jason, which is hilarious. She's super shocked to see his ass. And then when she comes back, he's gone. And nondescript European manager is there with a gun. And so that is Spy Hospital. Super quick. Really wanted that to be the big dun dun dun, because I think it ends with nondescript European manager with a gun on Jocelyn. Or maybe it ends with Carly being like, if I had lost another child, I would die. Either way, they thought that, they ate was by hospital. No eating took place, none whatsoever. Moving on, so let's go to Christina List Hospital. We are back at Christina List Hospital. Yes, Christina is in the episode, but she is not in Christina's hospital. She has been sucked into delusional hospital. So we're going to talk about her over in delusional hospital because that's how powerful delusional Drew not even in this episode. Drew is not even in this episode. Willow is now principal and CEO of delusional hospital in this episode. But we got to go to Christina List Hospital before we go over to delusional hospital. So let's get through it. So Michael and Molly are talking because Molly just ran up on Michael. Like she ran into Michael and then just screamed in his face that she likes Cody. And he's like, okay, like, I don't really know him like that, but sure. And she's like, I can't like him because he might be a con and he might be all this. And Michael's just like, girl, if you like him, you should just date him. Because, like, all the stuff she's saying to him sounds whack as hell, but she seems into it. So he's like, girl, if you like that man, go try to be with him. And so she goes to do that. Unfortunately, Cody is back in his honeypot era because it did seem like he was about to crash out in yesterday's episode. Like, ooh, I'm not a good person. But then Ava starts talking mad shit about Alexis and her daughters, plural, because Cody does try to give her some cap. Like, yeah, I'm sure Alexis ain't shit and Christina's a mess, but like Molly's a good person. Like, she good people. And Ava just decides because Molly is born of Rick, I guess, that she's the worst bitch of all three. And I was dying at that. I was like, really, Ava? Molly ain't done nearly a thing to you except be the daughter of Rick Lansing. And she's like, she ain't shit. She worse than her mom because she like her mom and her dad. So fuck her. And Cody is essentially like, game on. Game on, bitch. And he starts seducing her. And of course, Molly walks in on it. And I would like to say, I am now starting the let's stop Ava Jerome from being cucked by a man movement because I am sick of this. Like, we had to watch her get cucked by Nicholas with that child, then Rick and Liz, and now Cody and Molly. I'm sick of it. I don't even like Ava. I just don't like seeing women get treated like this. And so let's stop it. But I'm also into Ava and Cody. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Sorry, Molly. I do. Susie, who I used to do the GH report with, she loves Molly and Cody. And so maybe one of these days I'll make her come. And first I'd have to make her watch the show again because she has held true to crashing out on GH after they killed off Dex. But if I could get her to watch the scenes, because I think I could get her to watch clips, maybe I'll make her come on and we can talk about how we can fight about it. Love fights, like bestie fights. But that is Christina List Hospital. Let's go find Christina over at Delusional Hospital. First, we got to talk about Nina. So Nina obviously saw Willow hugging up on Drew and she's panicking. She tries to talk to Willow, but Willow shuts that shit down immediately. She's like, girl, don't talk to me. And I don't know if she's still like, don't talk to me because of just the overall issue or because she now believes Drew, because Drew said yesterday that Nina essentially blackmailed him into not being honest with her. So I don't know how much of that Willow believes. We're not getting a lot of Willow perspective, to be honest, when it comes to Drew. And so she shuts that shit down. That's all we need to know. She's like, girl, get out my face. Rick and Liz see all of it because Rick is still there trying to actively date Elizabeth. And they're both like, oh shit, okay. But Willow, she just tells her to step out her face and it's not a big deal. So Rick goes over to talk to her. And he tells her that she needs to get family references because so far she just has work references. And he's like, girl, but none of these people see you with your kids. And so you kind of need to get one of those people who like know you. Problem is that Willow systematically cut out every single member of her family in the course of being with Drew. Like, she told them all to go straight to hell and to fuck off. And so anyone who potentially could speak for her won't speak for her, or if they now feel like she is not a good mother because of what happened with Drew. But like through all this, she decides of all people that she wants to ask Christina. She decides she wants to ask Christina. So Christina had brought Maxie some flowers and she asked Liz to bring them to her. When Christina goes to leave, Willow is like, hey, can I talk to you really quick? Before I go to that, you could tell from this picture that Liz hates Christina. She just hates her guts. But Willow decides to ask Christina for a character reference, and Christina is like, nah, no. Why would I do that? The fuck? And so Willow is like, I don't know why you wouldn't try to help me. Like, you were almost a mother. And she uses the word almost, and Christina fucking snaps because she's still traumatized from dead baby summer, and she's like, I am a mother, I was a mother. My friend Britt, not Britt on this show, but like my actual friend Brittany Martinez was like, you weren't a mother, that was Molly's baby, and she is correct. But I hear you, Christina, it was still a fucked up thing to say to you. I could never give Christina a 10 because I don't like her, but I would give her an 8.5 because Christina reads the shit out of Willow. And she's just all like, girl, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you are trash. You do not want me to testify for you because I'm going to go straight on that stand and tell you that you ain't shit. That you are a terrible mother and that I had to do most of the mothering and the facilitating between my brother's children and himself. Like, fuck you, girl. Willow is genuinely shocked. Like, you're the only person who was nice to me. And Christina's like, bitch, I was pretending. I was lying because what else could I do? You were like threatening to withhold care from my brother. Like, be so fucking serious. And then she like proceeds to be like, and then when you came over after your non-wedding, that shit was a mess. Why the fuck did you do that? And she brings up the fact that the only reason that Willow broke up with Drew is because he fucked Nina, not because he's an ancient man. So fuck her. And of course, Willow runs off crying. Okay. And so Liz runs up on Christina and essentially blackmails her into being a character witness for fucking Willow. And like, people can say that she didn't blackmail her. Yes, she did. Excuse me. Yes, she did. She is 1,000% blackmailing Christina. I'm not mad at her for it. I'm not mad at her. If you got tea on a bitch, use it. If you trying to help your friend, use it. But let's keep it cute. She blackmailing her. She down in the mud with the rest of Mob Hospital, blackmailing people. Let's go. But she's immediately made to look dumb because as soon as she turns the corner to tell Willow that she got Christina to testify for her, Willow's on the phone pretty much getting back together with Drew. And so I feel so bad for Liz because she inadvertently found herself not active against Drew when she really wanted to move up into about to become active and not down into not active. Because she thought that she was getting closer to Willow being active against Drew, but then Willow fell down into Team Drew. So to be closer to Willow, she had to move down into not active. Embarrassing. Embarrassing. But I'm guessing that she had called Rick to tell him this because, like, let's go back to Rick really quick. Rick had got a text from Nina, and Nina was like, I need you to keep Willow away from Drew because I'm paying you. Really quick, this is a really weird camera angle. Why did they shoot them from below like this? Like, this is not giving art. If that's what y'all thought, this is giving weird. But Rick is like, so you want me to lie to Willow? Like, you want me to lie to her? Nina's like, yeah. Why is that a fucking problem? You love lying to women. You lied to me? You're lying to Ava? You're lying to Alexis probably? You lie to your daughter probably? Like, why is it you currently lying to Willow? Telling her you doing this pro bono. What the fuck? And I'm with you, Nina. What the fuck are you talking about, Rick? Like, now you can't lie to a bitch? Okay. Sure. But he ends up showing up to get Christina's statement, and we get a lot more flashbacks from like dead baby Summer and her hating Ava, and I don't really see what that has to do with Rick. I don't see what that has to do with Rick. But when Rick shows up, she's all, I'm traumatized again. And that is pretty much Friday's episode. It was very quick. The week was very succinct. I'm gonna pull up the tier list one final time. And so here are the active people against Drew. Obviously, we got all of Mob Hospital clicking up against Drew. The Quartermains have clicked up. I did not put all of them. They're not all actively active. Like, I could put Brooklyn in About to Become active if I wanted to, but I'm not going to because she's firmly at Moblet Hospital. Off screen Monica is so powerful. She's never been more powerful than when she was upstairs off screen. Cody loves to come for Drew. Portia to hire sex workers. Curtis tried to also hire a sex worker. Nina was also hiring sex workers. Politically, Laura is Drew's op. Alexis is the sleeping giant that he's not thinking about. Especially, he gonna wake her ass up next week. I see that he's giving her a restraining order against Scout. Same with Danny. Danny, he's just not thinking about. He knows nothing about horny DA being on his ass the way she is. I mean, he probably thinks that she don't like him because he's rude to her, but she's actually actively, openly trying to get his ass. Martin Gray is now an op. And Christina, just because Christina is now forced to go against her brother, she is now going to be actively against Willow because she assumes that Willow is Team Drew. And so Christina is now active. Everybody else is, at any moment. Like, I can see Molly becoming active next week. I can see Dante becoming active. Obviously, Jordan and Trina can jump into this category once they find out what's happening to Aunt Stella. Felicia, she's firmly at Moblet Hospital. And then White East African Warlord, Latino Son, and Anna, like, they weren't really in the episode that much this week, but like, they could definitely jump into active if Drew keeps acting a fool. But that is the week. Thank you for listening. I kept it down a little shorter this week. I'm very surprised by that, but here we are. If you like this, feel free to go ahead and give it a like, give it a subscribe, and give it 5 stars if you're listening to it on Apple Podcasts or Google or Spotify. Spotify, you can also leave comments, so those are always fun. I do read them. And yeah, if you like to see the images I put up, feel free to look at it on YouTube. But that's gonna be the week, and I'll see you next week. Bye.